All right, let's move on over to this week in WWE. First up, Monday Night Raw. A lot happened in this episode, and so much. We'll just focus on the highlights here. But early on Monday morning, news came out. WWE officially announced this, which I was super shocked by, that WWE Champion Drew McIntyre tested positive for COVID-19. So obviously, he's home quarantined for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, he'll be fine and ready to go for Royal Rumble for his match against Goldberg. So, Richard, your thoughts on that morning, just seeing the announcement? I mean, I think it was like the first time they really publicly announced a superstar having COVID.
You have to get the superstar's permission to announce something like that, number one, because of HIPAA laws. So,
yeah.
I thought the way they handled it and the way he handled it was extremely professional.
Yes, I agree.
Him coming out and saying that he doesn't have any symptoms. He's one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, asymptomatic. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the timing's really good for him because he's not going to miss the Royal Rumble. Because if he misses the Royal Rumble, it's not the wrestling storyline of you have to defend your title within 60 days. So you can't strip him of the belt.
Yeah.
You just have to move it to a Raw or whatever. So
yeah, it's I like I said, when WWE made his announcement, I think it was the first time they made a public announcement of someone currently active on the roster having COVID. So, like you said, they must have got permission from him. He must have been like, you know what? Okay, it's okay. Go ahead, talk about it. Maybe from his mind, its standpoint, it's like a role model, I guess, or a spokesperson. Kind of, as we saw on Raw, it was almost like a PSA he cut, saying, reminding people like, hey, please be safe, social distance, wear a mask, be smart out there.
He wanted to open the door for that.
Yeah, so I think in some ways that he wanted to do that.
I think it helps him too, to an extent. He's still the face of the company.
As a baby face, face.
He's got the belt. Like Roman Reigns might be in the headlines because he's a heel right now, and that's what people wanted. But like, Drew McIntyre is the guy right now.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Roman Reigns is a bigger name because he's been around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
In that main event scene, but like Drew McIntyre is getting that push right now where he's the guy.
Yeah. So, kudos to Drew McIntyre for giving the okay to go public with this and really kind of stand up and be like a spokesperson on behalf of WWE and just remind people, be safe. Like, we got to get out of this. We got to work together. We're almost in the home stretch of like ending this pandemic, but in order to do so, we all have to be smart and healthy. So I really respect that, Drew McIntyre. And so hopefully, if we have an opportunity to talk to him again real soon, I would love to kind of just praise him for that personally and just thank him for, being brave. I mean, there's a lot of people who get it and want to be very private about it, rightfully so. It's your own health. You have every right to be private. It's interesting because I think a lot of public figures who have it, everyone expects them to be upfront and announce it, and then everyone's like speculating how they get it. Ooh, what do they do to get it? So it creates a lot of just unnecessary gossip and drama. So for Drew to kind of just jump in front of it and announce it, all cool by me. So we started off the show. So I think because of that, Raw was rewritten very last minute because he was supposed to be in the main event, taking on Randy Orton, defending the championship. Another match here, a rematch between their long feud from the last 6 months. And I think there was rumors some other people because of this were not going to be able to be on the show tonight. So my big takeaway from Raw this week was there was a lot of superstars doing double duty for the night. We saw a lot of people doing multiple matches, and like I said, we'll go through, just quickly list off some of them as we go. But I do want to give praise also to Triple H. It looks like he was the big savior of the night. Like, he probably jumped on power. Yeah, he jumped on a plane, went down to Tampa Bay to be on this episode of Raw. So he comes out, cuts a promo. Randy Orton cuts him off. They go back and forth here, and he challenges him for a match.
It's funny though, because I thought of it the same way you just did, where it's like jump on a plane, get down there, but it's like that's no different than you or I jumping on an airplane to go to Los Angeles. Like, it's not that far.
Yeah.
It's an hour flight, and he's got his own personal plane. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. He's got his dad or his father-in-law is probably private jet, or WWE have private jets for all the executives. Yeah. So, but my guess, if I remember correctly, I think WWE superstars have to go in the day before to the facility or wherever the shows are at, get tested. I think there's two types of tests. One that takes less than 24 hours, or one you can find out that day. So I don't know what they currently use right now, but my guess is either maybe on Sunday or Monday morning, Drew got tested, found out he's positive, and then probably Triple H is like, all right, I'll jump on a plane and go down there and help out. So I thought that was just cool. It really seemed like, I interpret that as Triple H was trying to save the day and help put something together for Raw very last minute.
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So
what's funny to me too is when you look at everything that happened on Raw, it was actually a pretty decent Raw. Like it didn't feel super long. We got good matches, but like we got stuff that we don't see every week.
Yeah. It's and that was the big thread was like, so Randy Orton challenged Triple H for a match, and Triple H initially said no, because like, what does he have to prove at this point? Rightfully so. But and then throughout the night, the big theme was Randy Orton was like trying to get him, convince him to do it, and then so Triple H finally said, yes, I'll do it. And so I got excited, but I was kind of curious how's Triple H was going to look in this match, because was this his first match since Saudi Arabia?
I think so.
When he hurt himself. So kind of what shape he was going to be in, especially it was last minute, because we're so used to Triple H. If he wrestles like once a year, he's been vocal. I think Undertaker, it takes like a month or two to really kind of get in shape, get the look down. And as we saw in the main event, not to jump ahead already, but he kept it simple with the jeans and a Motorhead shirt on. So since it was so last minute, he wasn't able to probably be in top shape that he's used to, or what us the fans expect to see from him. So but nonetheless, so we'll talk about the main event, specifically what happened afterwards. That was pretty awesome. But something we also want to talk about. We see Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair once again. We've seen this before, having a little bit of father-daughter issues right now. Be on the same page. So following the events from last week's Raw, we see Lacey Evans take on Charlotte Flair here. Good match here, back and forth. Charlotte cut a promo before the match and said, sorry, I was a little bit out of character last week. I get frustrated. I'm very competitive. Didn't mean to like yell at my dad, but he's home.
I need to interject really quick. I love that WWE is doing these interviews on the way to the ring thing.
You do?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, because it's they're the quick 30 seconds or less promos and then hit it to the ring. Like, it fills up space really well in the show.
Didn't Mean Gene Okerlund used to do that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or they would do it after the match. But I like it on the way to the ring before they're all winded and they forget their lines. It's like, hit your lines here and then go out and do it.
So that's the thing was like, Charlotte said in that promo that her dad's at home. So I'm like, okay, cool. So no Ric Flair. And then halfway during this match, we see Ric Flair come out, down to the ring, and he's more or less just in Lacey Evans' corner. I mean, he was helping her. And
seduced by a woman, Ric Flair? What?
God, I mean, it's like,
you got to be kidding me.
You don't say.
Well, also, I liked it was funny in the promo. Charlotte said that she's used to seeing women hit on her dad.
Yeah.
God, imagine Charlotte when she was probably like 10 years old, like out to a restaurant, maybe like some women hitting on Ric Flair.
We want your autograph.
We want your autograph.
Sign my chest.
I'm sure she has plenty of real stories. If she was able to like do a shoot interview and talk about that stuff, that'd be great. Yeah. But this match here was good. I mean, it's funny because I remember when Lacey Evans first got called up, everyone's like, oh, this is one of Vince McMahon's types. That's why she got called up so fast out of NXT. So I really feel it's like Charlotte Flair and like Charlotte Flair's eventual successor going at it here. It's like twins going at it in this match.
There's been two dream matches for me. My only concern is I don't know if Lacey is ready to be in the same league as Charlotte, but the more she works with Charlotte, the better Lacey's going to be.
Yeah.
But Lacey and Charlotte's a match I've wanted to see for a while, down the road. But that and Bianca Belair and Charlotte, just because of the athleticism and the sizes, because we're not used to seeing women the same size as Charlotte. So usually Charlotte's towering over someone, and we got to see this week somewhat of equal stature with the great Flair.
So I think Lacey Evans' flirty ways really convinced Rick.
So handsome.
The internet loved it. The internet.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. So we see, then the match, and Charlotte's trying to pin Lacey. Rick lifts Lacey's leg up onto the rope to break the pin, and at the very end, Lacey's pinning Charlotte, or Charlotte's ready to suplex Lacey over the ropes, and as she's doing that, Rick trips Charlotte and holds her leg down,
Yeah.
and Lacey gets the pin. So like, he helped Lacey Evans defeat his own daughter. They're walking out
Dirtiest player in the game.
That's what I was going to say. Charlotte Flair, you do not screw over the dirtiest player in the game. Even if he's your dad, no one is safe in Ric Flair's world. So
Yep.
I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. But afterwards, they're in the ring or in the backstage walking together, and Lacey even said, "I'm going to change at the hotel room." So I was like, "Woo!"
You know what would be great is without any sort of notice whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing this the same way that they did Lana through the tables.
Yeah.
And they have, their final big match together down the road. Maybe whatever. And Hogan comes down and chases off Flair.
I can see that.
That'd be great.
That would be funny.
So Hogan comes, but like I forgot where I saw it. Someone said it was like, is this like Anna Nicole and the old guy she was with? I mean, is this?
Oh yeah, the Howard guy.
Is this a situation? I mean, we know WWE likes to kind of go like the tabloid. Scandal type route. So is this what we're getting here? It's like Lacey's gonna be dating an old man, situations. Is that how Rick or Lacey's really gonna get into Charlotte's skin, is by dating her dad?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's I'm just curious, where's this all gonna go? I mean, we'll probably see this back and forth for the next few weeks, and it's gonna lead to some big blow off, like Ric Flair in a cage, like hanging above the ring. Winner gets Ric Flair.
Yeah, that could work.
The only thing I can think of. So, very interesting. Another thing I want to touch on real quick. So, let's see. We saw, like I said, a lot of people doing double duties for the night. I mean, so, we saw Jeff Hardy take on Jackson Riker. Riker wins, and then Jeff Hardy calls out Elias, and they battle. So, it's like an ongoing feud that's just never ending.
Yeah.
But next up, we saw Sheamus and Keith Lee backstage having a segment. And it looks like they're on the same page again. They both agree. It's like, okay, if Drew likes you, I like you. And Miz and Morrison interrupt, do their thing and challenge them to a match.
Yeah.
And so,
Match.
this match here, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
Sheamus, Keith Lee working together. It's two big hosses on the same page. I enjoyed that aspect of Miz and Morrison at this point with their comedic routine, just getting their ass handed to them. I enjoyed that.
Especially the turnbuckle spot.
Yeah, dude, that spot was great as far as Keith Lee pushing Morrison into the corner and the turnbuckle exploded out. So,
And it just charged at him like a rhino,
But, Richard, what I wanted to ask you, so we see Sheamus and Keith Lee win. And then, they're celebrating and they come out of commercial break and they're fighting each other. Like, no explanation. It's like, what the hell? They're fighting each other. And then it leads into a match between the two. Yeah. I love the match. Like I said, Sheamus.
Good match.
I think this is just a different shade of Sheamus right now, because we saw this with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre where they get into a fist fight, but then they're buddies again.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's the thing. So the match I enjoyed, Keith Lee versus Sheamus, and I love Keith Lee, winning with the Spirit Bomb. And then afterwards, they're looking at each other, and Sheamus or Keith Lee puts the fist out, like, "Hey, fist me."
Hey,
Whoa.
But Sheamus hits the hand away and then goes in for a hug and hugs him. So
we got a bromance here.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Earned his respect. He earned his respect.
Yeah.
So, okay, they're on the same page. They have a match. Then after the match, they start hitting on each other or, beating up each other. And then they have a match, and then they hug each other. Like, it's just the back and forth. The amount of emotions were covered in this multiple segments. It seems like a feud that would have lasted for a couple months, squeezed down together in like a 45-minute segment.
Well, I'm going to quote.
We've seen this before, though.
Yeah, I'm going to quote Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips, and he just simply said, "That's the name of the game."
Yeah.
That's from WWE for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Ring of Honor spot. How many times have you seen people beat the shit out of each other and then shake hands and hug after?
Yeah. So, like I said, I was just really kind of surprised how much ground they covered in their story in one episode of Monday Night Raw. That was kind of surprising to me. But then, a lot else happened. I just want to acknowledge. So, T-Bar took on Xavier Woods, but Xavier was by himself. Kofi Kingston was announced he has a broken jaw of some sort. So, not sure how long he's going to be out for. He even did like an Instagram live and talked about his jaw really bothering him. So, I don't know I think that happened maybe at TLC or something. I'm not quite sure the timeline, but So he's going to be out for a while. So Xavier Woods really going to be by himself right now on Monday Night Raw. And then we see Bobby Lashley take on Matt Riddle, and then Riddle take on MVP. And then we see AJ Styles take on Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak was kind of giving AJ crap about just automatically announcing himself in the Royal Rumble, but Drew Gulak has to like fight his way in. So, I side with Drew Gulak here. It's like a little bit of favoritism on Monday Night Raw. It's like
I do like the new ring gear for Drew Gulak.
Like I was just going to say,
very Lance Storm like.
The orange pants.
Yeah.
So, but AJ
With the
Styles,
Kawada kick pads.
So I wonder if that's going to be a new story as far as Drew Gulak trying to fight his way into the Royal Rumble. So that's going to gives him something to do for the next couple of weeks. He has to prove himself, or to Adam Pearce, why he needs to be in the Royal Rumble match. So a little bit of an underdog story here. We saw Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler defeat Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke. So
that was a surprisingly good match. I thought Mandy Rose looked better than I've ever seen her in that match, and I don't know what it was.
It's interesting when some people
just clicked.
Depending on the matchups here, how certain people match up with other people and can perform with one another. That's always something kind of amazing to me.
Yeah,
I feel like Shayna Baszler's someone that doesn't really gel with anybody. Like her matches are all clunky, but there's an art to the clunkiness.
Yeah,
you know, like she's a fighter. She's a legit fighter, and she wrestles like a fighter. Like it doesn't look pretty, but she's a badass. But like Mandy Rose doing the kip ups and the knee strikes was just like everything was clicking with her on Monday.
I will admit, to Mandy Rose, to her credit, I think in the last couple months she's been a lot better in the ring. I think she's become more watchable, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know.
She's always been watchable.
In ring wise, her in ring work.
Yeah,
I've definitely
looks aside.
Yeah, but she's definitely been doing a better job just with her work rate in the ring. So I'm kudos to her, whatever she's been doing.
Her and Dana are clicking. You know, that's the thing. It's funny because you get, you know, just because she and Sonya were best friends didn't mean that they
had to be together forever.
Yeah, and that their in ring styles would click because I don't know. The women's tag division in WWE is very bright for me right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting kind of seeing how they're going to keep evolving that division to make it strong for the women's tag titles, which I was a little bummed we didn't see no Asuka this week, but she will be on this week's episode of Raw, which we'll get into in a second. All right, so let's jump into the main event. So it was Triple H taking on Randy Orton. Triple H agreed to Randy Orton's challenge. Triple H comes out, like I said, the Motorhead shirt on, the jeans on, look like he's ready for a street fight. And I was kind of worried, though, because I think when this match started, it was like less than 10 minutes in the show. I'm like, how are they going to get everything in this short time span? But this match, you know, they were brawling all over the place, outside the ring.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I did too. For what it was, I loved it too because it's like,
it was
that's a good punch. Yeah, that's a good punch.
The fists were flying.
It was like 5 minutes, if that. Yeah. I mean, it was barely 5 minutes. And then we see the room get dark, and all of a sudden lights come back on. We see Alexa Bliss in the corner.
Whoa, you're missing.
Well, Randy Orton in the ring.
No.
Triple
the
H
sledgehammer. He grabs the sledgehammer and then it catches on fire.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes,
that was badass.
Yeah, I was just like, oh well, that's different.
I was like, oh my God, he's gonna hit him with the sledgehammer. But when the lights come back on, Triple H is gone, so he magically disappeared. Randy's in the ring against Alexa Bliss, and he starts walking up to her, and Alexa Bliss, you know, like she puts the glove under her chin, and then all of a sudden she shoots a fireball into Randy Orton's face.
My favorite all-time angle in professional wrestling, the fireball.
Yes. Yeah. Keith Lee should have been out there like, no, don't do it. What happened to you too?
Do you know why the fireball's so revered in wrestling?
Go on.
No,
because
that?
The Sheik used to use the fireball, and at one point in time there was a referee. I don't remember the territory. I think it was Big Time Wrestling in Detroit. But he hit this referee, Red Shoes Duggan, in the face. Yeah. He had third-degree burns all over his face. I've got the photo somewhere. I'll post it.
But I've heard of Red Shoes, yes.
Yeah, Duggan. Red Shoes Duggan.
Yeah.
And
not Red Shoes in New Japan.
No, this is before him.
Yes.
But it legitimized the fireball forever since then. So now whenever anyone sees it, because that made the cover of all the old school wrestling magazines, was his burnt face, and you can see the layers of burns, and it's not, Hollywood makeup.
Yeah.
But terrible.
So after that, anytime the fireball was coming, people were really scared.
Yeah. So it went from him to Lawler to Sabu to Shane Douglas, Kevin Sullivan, Terry Funk.
So
Jim Cornette.
No, like I said, I love this. So there's a lot of fire on this episode of Raw with, like you said, with Triple H with the sledgehammer, Randy Orton getting shot in the face. So a little bit of a payback because Alexa, remember, the thing was Triple H was saying, he praised Randy Orton earlier tonight for not setting Alexa Bliss on fire.
That was good.
But so Randy Orton, is falling the ground with in pain, oh my God. So we'll see what happens next. Is Randy Orton going to be gone for a couple weeks recovering from this? It only adds more, which I love, a layer to this story with the Fiend and Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. So Fire's been the real takeaway as far as what this rivalry is. So.
Yeah. It's all for good shock value.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's payback, definitely, for Alexa Bliss. Just the thought of Randy was going to burn her, but even, set the Fiend on fire a couple weeks ago, or last month, I should say. And then he pooped his pants. We all know that's been well documented.
Well, he didn't poop his pants. It was purging fluids.
Yeah, if you want to use the scientific terms.
But so looking ahead to Monday Night Raw this week, Alexa Bliss is going to be doing double duty, it looks like. So she's going to take on Asuka, and also she's going to have a segment with Randy Orton. So I'm curious, Randy Orton, is he going to have a face mask? Remember when the Undertaker had the face mask?
Or he's going to have bandages wrapped around.
I would love a Phantom of the Opera type mask or something.
Well, hey, they went all out for that last mask. Just imagine what they're going to do with the next one.
It's how do you up that for the Fiend and Randy Orton whenever the next match is? If it's going to be Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, whatever it is, how are they going to up that? So I don't know.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, no, a fun episode of Monday Night Raw.